capstone video to describe what are some of the expectations for your trade show. Now, Ted Reader in the Monday class should be giving you a description of the expectations and a description of the marking criteria for this event, but I wanted to give you a bit of a background of what we've done in the past. And so I'm going to be flipping through my Facebook of some photos that we've done in the past, and there's Mona, my daughter, Scott McInerney, who some of you may remember from previous years, and I'll just be flipping through some photos and giving some commentary about what has worked well for people in their trade show presentations. Now, you may have seen this listed as, oh, well, there's a Sasquatch having a trade show with donuts. Good for him. What has worked in the past for a trade show? Well, main thing is keep it clean, keep it simple, be professional, make sure your food service is on point, and make sure you are ready to back up any of your presentation with your portfolio from the written portion of the Capstone project. So this would be 2015, and in this capstone, the students had, very similar to what you folks did, they developed a variety of different products and then did the presentation. We have a variety of different individuals coming. I believe we have Joanne Hamilton from the CFIA. We have Mike Van Ninhuis, who is the operations manager for Cornerstone Foods in Welland. I believe Ted has a few guests coming as well. We bring in people that you have not met before. And this is normal in the industry to have to give a presentation to someone that you haven't met before. Make the assumption that these are individuals from the food manufacturing industry who may be interested in buying or distributing your product, or in the case of the CFIA, may be interested in understanding food safety and quality issues related to your product. So, what have people done? They have taken the opportunity to present their product in a creative fashion. Now that said, keep it creative, but keep it feasible. I have seen it happen where people have completely gone over the top in terms of their presentation and it gets a bit out of control. I want to encourage you to be completely creative, but at the same time I want to reinforce the fact that sometimes simple, clean, well-executed presentation is all that's needed. These would be some kiwi chewy popsicles made with kiwi puree and a variety of other all-natural fruit purees. And they were presented in a beach sand bucket with ice to keep them cold, and there was a beach sort of theme going on. This was one that was completely over the top, though. I think this individual brought in a whole kiddie pool and filled it with sand. And I'm like, oh, no, we don't want sand all over in the kitchen space. Remember, the presentation is going to be at your pod in HT 105. Going back to some of these, you'll note it's nice to have a mock-up of a possible package. In certain cases, let's see, going back to some of the package, I don't have a package here. In certain cases, just an elegant presentation would be nice. In this case, the hot sauce that was prepared, a fermented hot sauce, it would have been nice to have a mock label to go along with it. Here is one where someone took existing, you can see the Classico label here, an existing tomato sauce, and they developed a chocolate mole sauce. They made a mock label which they printed off using a color printer and just taped onto the jar to give an impression of how the product may be actually packaged. But you'll note the product wasn't presented in the package form. It was presented in food service style format in souffle cups. Here's a root beer product, and again, the product was not served in the bottle, but the bottles were there as part of the presentation piece to give an impression of how the product may be presented and packaged. This was one where this individual kept it nice and clean and simple, but at the same time used some elements to make it go over the top. It was a matcha chai tea and strawberry biscotti, and this student had folded these cute little origami boxes, for presentation of the samples, and then just brought in a tea set to give context. And you can see the sell sheet in the background for the product. Here's a mint green tea beverage. Again, example of one package format, and the rest was served in a bulk format, ready for food service style sampling. Here's one where this individual created a hamburger, actually a ground wild boar product, and they had smoked Gouda cheese embedded into it. And again, simple barrel staves with the plastic spoon presentation and small slider presentation. This is one where this was an exemplar product. You can see the frozen meat inside in a package, and then they had printed off a tray liner to cover over a black plastic tray. That would be a presentation piece. Again, keeping it simple, a nice presentable cutting board with a nice clean plate, sauce, the spices to give an impression of freshness and impression of flavor. There's some chicken fingers. Hey, that's my cutting board. So if there's stuff that you wish you had, and I know many of you are in the process of downsizing your apartments and moving out of town, feel free to just ask me. This happens to be one where they were doing a coconut tropical chicken finger style product, and I have a cutting board that looks quite a bit like a surfboard, and I lent it to this group. If there's something that you're imagining would make your presentation piece just a little over the top, talk to me. Ask if I've got any ideas, because I've got a house full of stuff that may just be useful for you. Here's a nice barbecue sauce with, again, a mock label to give a representation of what you're after. And again, what you want to make sure that you're doing next week is requisitioning any equipment that you feel is necessary for your presentation. And so in this case, this individual felt a heat lamp was essential so that they could present, I can't remember if it's pork or beef, but they had a pork roast or some sort of roast that they were slicing up and presenting the sauce to give it some context. And again, another mock product with a mock label. Keep it simple, keep it elegant. Spiced apple gel, again, you can see the sell sheet in the background. Clean cutting board, some spices, nice tidy presentation. So just to give some final context, hey, it's another one of my cutting boards. This was a big fancy butcher block style cutting board. Tips and tricks for the presentation. Have your portfolio of your Capstone project elements in a binder somewhere on your pod. Again, you are doing this as a team presentation, but your Capstone portfolio is yours. And be prepared that some people may come and have conversations with you and ask more in-depth and probing questions about your product, about the food safety, about your quality assurance, about costing, and so on. So do be prepared with backup evidence for what you were presenting. Here's one that was, again, a little bit over the top and a bit distracting, but we had a dinosaur, and supposedly these were bean dip things, but it was a bit thick in texture, and I don't know why there were dinosaurs, but there were dinosaurs involved. Happy looking people, hey, there's Esteban. Keep it clean, keep it professional, have fun, and it is always a good time. People really enjoy the experience. People, look at them all smiling, all your previous graduates. Keep it fun, enjoy yourself. This is a celebration of all the skills that you bring together and your accomplishments that you've done through your career. So enjoy your time. Oh, there's Mona. Enough photos for me. We'll talk about this on Monday morning, but otherwise have fun getting ready, and we'll talk to you soon.